And what up, you guys? Welcome back to Pro Publications YouTube channel. It's me, Rich. Daily uploads to open up my own shop. And today I was off, and as I normally do, I started the day by packing orders, but also reading and drawing comics. Definitely was happy. I never tried to draw Jack Kirby's Demon, but man, did I not really figure that character out and create a shorthand. And it goes back to that thing that the more I draw different things for the envelopes, for the orders, to add just more value, just better my art is getting, right? But I was really amped about that. So much so that I thought, why not treat myself to a comic book run? And I went to the comic book shop and I found hella dope shit. Stuff that I was really happy to find. I found some issues of Metal Hurlant at a very reasonable price. That, of course, is the original French version of Heavy Metal magazine. And so definitely was happy to find that. And I found a bunch of Garth Ennis comics and like just a lot of dope stuff, man, at reasonable prices. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the shit I'm into, I think a lot of people might not be that into it. So like, I'm into the French shit for sure. But beyond that, like, I went there with the intent of trying to pick up a copy of that Red Hood comic that I talked about yesterday, only to be found that like they recalled the book. Now, I don't doubt that there's been recalls before, and I think when I did a quick Google search, it was saying how most of those recalls are because of print errors. But there is the offhands of like certain things. Like I know there was an Electro comic that, I don't know if they showed breast or what it was, but like there was some sort of nudity in it, so they pulled it and things of that nature. But I've been reading comic books for, I don't know, like at this point, like 33 years, right? And it's very rare and seldom when you hear about comic book being recalled, to the point that they pulled them off the shelves. And if the shop clerk is not lying to me, ask them to rip the comic book up, which is common practice for many bookstores, right? So like the books that don't sell, they're supposed to rip them up and like really make them unreadable, because in that way no one's gonna resell them, or people who do want to read it have to buy it. But like, they ripped them all up according to the clerk, and I was like, man, what dumpster did you throw it in? Because I will dumpster dive for that issue. This has become the best comic book to get this year, because it's going to be one of the comics that will always be remembered in 2025. That comic book that got recalled because of the Charlie Kirk situation and all that. And so for me, it's just for that point that I really wanted it in the collection. But I already looked online, man, and people are already, trying to sell them for like $100, $200 because of the same thing. Like, it's going to be a part of comic book history, right? Like, as time progresses, and people are always going to speculate on like what the run would have been like and so on and so forth. But like, it is such a very interesting, talking point, really. And if the writer is clever, if she's adamant about making comics, like, she should announce or launch her self-titled work or whatever, right? Like her creator-owned stuff, because like I'm interested in this writer now. Like, I had heard of the book prior, but like, again, nothing that really caught my eye or my attention, not anything that I was really wanting to read. But now, like, a writer who stands on her morals and ethics and really stands on her business, like, I want to see what she writes, because what she writes, she's going to stand on, you know what I mean? And so like, I am very, very interested in that, and I hope that she does take that leap and like launch some sort of creator owned project. I think she would find that a lot of people would be interested in hearing or reading whatever next thing she does. So I'm hoping for that. But I definitely, if you got a copy of that, good on you, man. I really do hope that a copy of that falls in my lap, and I'm still gonna possibly go to other comic book shops and see if I can't bump into one. But the online prices are already crazy, so I'm not doing that, because again, I'm not a collector. So like, I can't fathom me spending $100-$200 on one comic. Like, I just can't do that, you know what I mean? But that was so crazy to me, like how quick like you know, they pulled it from the Batman Day bundle, right? They had to refund people's money because people paid up front for those bundles. So like, it's just so crazy to me that like that all that occurred that quickly, you know, over something. And like she said herself, actually, and I was reading an article today about her follow-up about it, right? And Gretchen was like, I don't feel like I said anything fucking crazy. And I was like, I didn't either. But like, good lord, like, people are real sensitive nowadays, I guess. But alright, you guys, don't think I've forgotten. I am making such a large video for you guys because you guys asked me like hella questions, and I definitely want to do that justice, because like all this stuff is shit that I have thought about, because it's just the way that my mind works, because I've trained it that way. Other things of like that I want to really talk about is like how you have to have a strategy for what they refer to as like customer development acquisition, right? Like everything isn't going to just land you a sell, but rather how do you build that rapport so that your base knows that like you're the person to go to when you do want to make that purchase, right? Something that they call like brand awareness and brand recall, right? And like all that stuff, like I said, like that's the nitty gritty stuff, man. That's the stuff that like I hyper fixate on, because like, again, it's kind of what I do in my day-to-day life. So like as far as work, and so it's just the way my mind kind of works, and like I'm applying it to comic books, and I think it's actually very, very interesting. But that longer video will probably be on a day when I'm not just chilling and relaxing, because that kind of stuff is going to be quite a gut punch of work. But alright guys, as always, man, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I do this daily, so guess what? I'll be back tomorrow. Lates.